He told me I wasn't good enough until he saw my face on TV. When he said, "You'll never make it," I smiled like it didn't hurt. But that night, I cried so hard my pillow felt like a sponge. I promised myself one thing before I fell asleep one day. He'd regret ever saying that. Back then, I was 22, fresh out of college with a journalism degree and more dreams than money. I just started dating Mark, a guy who was charming in public but cruel when no one was watching. He called it tough love. I called it humiliation. Every time I talked about becoming a TV reporter, he laughed and said, You stutter when you're nervous. No one's gonna put you on TV." I tried to prove him wrong, applied for internships, practiced my speech in front of a cracked mirror, even joined a local community radio show. But every rejection email felt like he was right, and he loved reminding me. "See? You should have just gotten a normal job. You're not meant for that spotlight," he'd say, scrolling through his phone while I sat beside him, shrinking smaller every time. The breaking point came one night when he brought his friends over. I overheard him joking, "She wants to be on TV, maybe if it's a cooking show for losers." They laughed, I laughed too, pretending I didn't care, but something inside me snapped. The next morning, I packed my things, left his apartment, and moved into a tiny studio above a laundromat. I had no plan, no money, just anger and caffeine. Then, one random afternoon, while scrolling through job listings, I found a posting for an assistant position at a small local TV station. It wasn't glamorous, mostly fetching coffee and editing scripts, but it got me inside the building. For the first 6 months, I was invisible, but I watched, learned, and waited. One night, the evening anchor got food poisoning minutes before going live. Everyone panicked. I don't know what came over me, maybe that same voice he used to mock, but I heard myself say, "I can do it." The producer looked desperate enough to try anything. She shoved me into makeup, gave me a stack of cue cards, and whispered, "Don't mess this up." I didn't. I nailed it. The segment went viral the next morning. New anchor handles breaking story like a pro. My phone exploded with messages, but one name stood out, Mark. At first, I didn't reply. Then, a week later, I ran into him at a coffee shop. Of all places, he froze when he saw me. "Wait. I saw you on TV last night," he stammered. "You were amazing." I smiled, "Thanks, guess they don't mind my stutter after all." He laughed awkwardly, tried to make small talk, and even suggested catching up sometime. I just looked at him and said, "Sorry, I've got to get back to work, TV doesn't wait." But karma wasn't done yet. A few months later, my station was covering a local business scandal, and guess whose company was at the center of it? Mark's. His boss had been accused of fraud, and guess who got assigned to cover the story live? Me. Standing in front of his office, camera rolling, I began. "Today, we're reporting from the headquarters of Silver Tech, where several employees, including local manager Mark Peterson, are under investigation." I didn't even need to say more. His face appeared in the background, pale, shocked, utterly humiliated. For once, he was the one shrinking. After the broadcast, my inbox flooded again, this time, with praise from my boss and one short, pathetic message from Mark. "You really made it, huh?" I replied with just 2 words. "Told you." Sometimes, revenge isn't loud, it's quiet, confident, and broadcasted in high definition. That night, I didn't cry on my pillow. I smiled at the ceiling, whispering to the girl who once doubted herself. "You were always good enough." He just couldn't see it.